So just a quick update. These charts here that I have in PDF, they have been Navigraph charts from the beginning of last year. And beginning of last year, we have actually what we have seen now with the Nasbu and the Gaktu Kusur. So they are actually they have really updated the database, and obviously X-Plane and the current Navigraph database, they run apart from each other. I wonder when I did my last update of the X-Plane data. I thought that I had put that in. I need to check though. I'm not sure where my little tool gets the stars and the sits from, where that is actually lying. It could be that that hasn't really been updated properly. It's one possibility, because it looks like we are running on very old data. Oh no, maybe that's not. No, it's not X-Plane. It could actually be. It could actually be the bird here. I wonder where it pulls, for example, the information that we have a runway. Oh no, I'll tell you what, this is a very old airport. This is Aerosoft's Keflavik. That's probably why this is. Oh, and it might not even have an ILS. We might be in trouble there on the approach. So potentially we will need to do an RNAV approach or something, but I think... Alrighty, so we have some kind of thunderstorms in the vicinity. Yeah, we were told that weather's getting a bit more choppy. I wonder where those cumulonimbus are for that kind of weather. Anyway, yeah, so there's a bit of a mismatch here. It's one of these things with this airport, with this add-on, I mean. Yeah, it's not perfect. Let's call it that. So, yeah, I wonder where it gets. Probably from the airport. It could well be that the old Aerosoft airport didn't have an ILS on runway 19. So, yeah, we shall see. Yeah, okay, but anyway, let's continue here, and I'll be back when we are getting closer to the top of descent. So we're now approaching our top of descent, at least according to EFAS. Just to show you this again, I have used the VNAV feature, and as you can see now, we're approaching that point that it suggests as the top of descent. And let me quickly check the altitude that we should have. So if we look here, let's go to Mikla. We should be on 367 Nasbu Tesgo flight level 130. So I think I'm going to put in the 70 that we should be on. So I'm going to now change the altitude to 7,000. Whoops. Flight level 70. And I push the button. And we're now starting with the descent. And what you can see here is also, this is the vertical profile. Let me pull this up a little bit. So it calculates kind of the profile for sinking. This is based on the altitudes we have provided for each of the waypoints. And although we don't have a VNAV, but that is a good indication. So if our little airplane symbol is below or above that, then we are most likely not on our vertical path. So it's the kind of makeshift VNAV, self-made kind of thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you that use of all electronic devices during descent and landing is prohibited, as it may interfere with the navigation
let's do the descent preparations. So the weather, yeah, the weather we have actually checked the weather, but we can do this again. So I'm going on to the going into the details here of that flight plan, flight summary, weather. So the current weather at the destination is, oh, interesting. According to this, the wind has changed somewhat. So the wind has now changed to 070 with 5 knots. Oh no, what is that now? Is that the TAF or the META? It's a little bit unclear. Let's check that. Okay. Yeah, so I'm getting conflicting weather reports here. So I'm not quite sure now what the real weather is at the airport. Because one says winds from 180 with 15 knots, that would be okay for our runway 19 approach. The other says that the wind is 070 with 5 knots. Now that would be not quite right then. Would have to change to something to the other runway. And I'm trying to understand now, why do I have two different... let's use another source. Let's see. I'm going into one of my little tools that I have here on my old iPad. Pilot Wizard, and I'm going to check the weather. So let's add BIKF. BIKF Keflavik. Offline. That's not good. So this little tool doesn't work anymore. It looks. Loading. Looks like the connection to that server isn't available anymore. So another of my tools not working anymore. That's a pity. So. Where to get the weather report from? Let's see, I'll try something else. Not connected. Yeah, it looks like the classic sources for metas and TAFs that all these apps have been using is either not available right now or is not available anymore. That's not good. So I'm going to use the meta feature now, and let's see. So I've again the forecast, the TAF, significant weather. We have some significant weather, and according to this we actually have now winds from 070. That means in theory we would have now to change our approach. That's not so good. Well, we do have the runway 11. That would probably then be the one to use. Let's have a look. It would actually be... we have to fly around the whole airport then. we have to fly to non-B. Okay. Init. No, active. Flight plan. Arrival. So that would be runway 11. There it knows. Now there is no approach, but we could try and load a star. We've come in via Nazbu, so let's see, runway 11 Nazbu, apply, return. Now the problem is that we have both in there now, so I need to delete now the old approach. And look at that. That's all. Now, so let's. So there's a discontinuity. Let's get out that discontinuity. And yeah. So this is now a completely different approach. Set the constraint. The constraint is something like what was it? I think 10,000. Doing it quick now. I think I'm going to check out that constraint. So let's take that out. So I think we need to have actually 220 knots at this point. And yes, other aircraft, this is much easier to handle. So this is a bit of a constraints. So we then need to go to probably something like non-bowl. So we're flying to Zonax. Zonax, I'm pretty sure we need to be 3,500. No, we don't want to delete that waypoint. We want to clear that strange constraint. Okay. So Zonax, and then yeah. I guess from Zonax we are going to somehow this looks odd. So, oh yeah, Zonax 3,500, and Zonax is actually the point where we can then turn. So I'm going to put in KFI 11. Maximum is 200 knots. And let's do this a little bit. Okay, so Zonax, KF11, and then Madax. And Madax, we need to be at 1800. And we should be at there's no real constraint. Let's do 160 for the speed, and let's put this on 1800. Okay. And this is where we should actually be already on the intercept here for the ILS. So that looks quite okay. It also means now that, because this is a known runway, we have now the ILS. I'm pretty sure, so if I switch to Navaids, no, it hasn't. So no, it has actually, and it's 102. Well, in theory it should be 105. So it probably gets this from the scenery, but it has found the landing system, so that's okay. All right. Okay, weather is obtained. Landing elec. Probably landing elevation. Baro reference preset. I don't think that works here. So it's according to the current meta. We have 972. So while we're in standard, we can't preset it. 972. Oh, that's quite a low pressure setting. You can see that we are here over Iceland in clouds. I'm going to switch now to on weather radar. Looks okay though. There's no bad things about. We are still a little bit too high yet, but that doesn't matter. Leave it on now. Okay, so let's continue. The Baro, ecam status, approach data insert, position nav aids page. We've done yeah, so we've done that, and we are now on the descent. We are at 10,000. So we're going to set the exterior lights, turn them on again. Oh, I forgot to turn on the landing lights. Okay. Right, lights are on. Seatbelts are on, FLS data check, bar reference check. Next would be the descent monitoring, rate of descent as required, speed brakes as required. So the speed brakes. So there is here the braking action, and again I need to find out how you or where this is actually displayed, because I just realized that I can't see it anywhere. Yeah, we are on the 10,000 foot constraint. That's why we have slowed down a bit with our descent. So again, somehow auto brake is armed, and you can set brake is low. The runway is 3,100 around 3,100 meters. So let's do a medium. No, in the inner one. So brake 2, brake low. Let's leave low. So we've done the braking action, descent, rate of descent, speed brakes as required, WX on AFIS as required, holding pattern as required. We don't have any holdings. Next. So that means next would be the precision approach, the initial approach. We're not there yet. Seat belts, manage speed, and so on. We also need to prepare the approach. So the wind we said is 070 with 15 knots. Yeah, 17 is okay. The outside temperature, let's call up the meter again. The outside 70 knots with 5 knots actually. The outside temperature is -1. Ooh, cold there. QNH is 0972 in the meantime. And the minimum, according to the chart, is for Cat 1 DME is radio 200. I can't change the baro anyway, so let's put in 200. We're going to land with config full. Approach speed, transition level is actually ATC, but it's, if nothing else, it's actually 70. So we're now at the transition level, and we need to continue our descent to 3000 and 3500. Because at Sonax we need to be at 3500, and the speed, there's a speed restriction coming up for 220, but I'm expecting the bird to put this in. So I'm turning on the landing system. We already can receive India Kilo Foxtrot 109.50. We're 20 miles away. There's the airport. And I think that should be the approach phase check, positioning monitor, speed brakes as required, manage speed check. Next. FMA, flaps 1. Okay, so this is the whole procedure now for bringing the flaps and all that kind of stuff. One thing that we're going to do is I'm going here onto the flight plan. Performance? No. Just trying to see where is the approach descent page. Yeah, so on the descent page, this is the approach mode, which brings the plane into this Airbus typical approach mode thing and starts slowing down. Well, we are not yet at that point. So I also need to tell EFAS that we have a change of runway. The arrival is now runway 11. And we are arriving the ILS 11 Zulu via Sonax. So I put this in. Very good. So when we are at Sonax, we need be at 3500. We are descending slowly but surely. Approach, push back. What? What's that up there? Approach, push button. So we haven't got that activated yet. I see. I'm assuming that it means that here. I'm going to switch now to the terrain view. So we are at 3500. Another thing we can do is we can go on a navigation page here. The Keflavik 112.8. 112.8, yeah. There's the Keflavik VOR. So we can use this to get a bit of a readout, so they're both active. So we should actually see Keflavik. Here it is, 6 miles. So we're just bypassing it here now. So that's why we still have a decreasing distance. As soon as we are past it, this will start to grow again. But that's another pointer here to the VOR, and gives us also a readout for the DME. Now we do have a DME here for the approach, so that's kind of double. But yeah, we see the terrain 0301. That's the safe altitude. That's why we also have to be at 3500. So we're almost yeah, here we leave the land again, and we're now flying a little bit out into the sea. So we are supposed to be, yeah, still 220 knots. That's still okay. We're going to reduce then. Oh, I think. Oh, hang on. There is a waypoint missing. Oh, I need to be quick now. And that is Sonax. We need non-bow. Non-bow. No, that's rubbish. I misread the. Cancel. I misread the chart. No, KFI 11 is okay. No! What have I started now?
Ladies and gentlemen,
started some
our aircraft will land at the
program now that I didn't want to start.
Safety, we ask you to remain seated until the
Cat, no,
aircraft
go away,
comes to
go
a
away.
complete stop and the fasten seatbelt sign is turned off. When preparing to depart, please make sure to take all your personal belongings with you. Attention international
What was that?
travelers. If you are continuing
Don't
your
you
flight,
crash on me
follow
now.
the signs to international transit area.
Don't you dare. Okay, so I'm already dialing in the 1800. So we've just turned on, we're still on our way to Sonax. So I wonder now if I push that button. It's not supposed to sync right now, is it? Because we're still on a constraint. It does though. But very slowly. Okay. So maximum 200 knots. We are already decelerating, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to activate. I am going to. Oh, it has already activated the approach phase, as we can see. So 200 knots, and it's reducing now slowly to the green dot speed. So when we look in here again, see the green dot speed O is 180, that's the clean speed. Slats retraction 159, flaps 146. So somewhere over there is the airport. Yeah, so if you have to change things in this plane, it is a bit more. You need to hurry and hope that your controller isn't giving you this instruction too late. So can be done. It's a lot of manual setting up, but anyway. So flaps 1. And actually I'm going to bring up the... And I'm arming the approach. The localizer is already being captured. Localizer is captured. So we're reducing now to the slats retraction speed 160. And it will remain there until we activate the next stage of flaps. 160 knots.
2000.
So we're fine with the speed. Glide slope is probably coming alive any moment, I hope. Glide slope is alive. I'm going to extend flaps 2. You're done. Five miles. Flaps 3. Runways in sight. Flaps full. Okay, the ground spoilers aren't armed yet. And the ECA wheel page, well, that I don't care about, but obviously I would care about the good, no precision, visual approach, so that's the landing checklist. Automatic follow, but that's far too much blubber. Okay, now let's get ready. I'm thinking of taking over. So, first of all, I'm disabling the autopilot.
$1,000.
And I'm disabling the auto throttle. And now you can see why I really like the new displays, because
Speed.
oops.
Speed.
Approaching 1.
Okay, runway 11 is okay. We are a little bit on the high side. So I haven't really flown this aircraft for a long
Too
time.
high.
We
Too
are too
high.
high. Yes, I know. I'm compensating. Glide slope is coming in again. Just have to be
500.
a bit careful now.
400.
Terrain.
100 above. Minimum 200.
Landing.
100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 20, 10.
No,
10.
no. Off you go. Off
10.
you go.
Long landing. Long landing. 8,000
Yeah, it's okay.
feet remaining.
$80 knots and out of reverse. So it wasn't too bad. When they clap, then the vertical speed wasn't. Yeah, the brakes are a little bit hot. I think I was a bit too much on the brakes here.
4,000 remaining.
It wasn't exactly beautiful, but it wasn't bad either.
3,000
And now
remaining.
I think we need to go. Oh, I think we need to go left here. So the brakes are hot. So the brake fans are active, it looks. Now I have to turn them on, so that's what I did now. And now we're going to turn on the taxi lights, turn off the strobes, and also turn off the transponder. And we go to the after landing checklist. So let's bring in the flaps. Bring in the speed brakes again, flaps up. The brakes have cooled down. Where do we have to go? Can we go straight? Yeah, I think we can. Oh, we can also go here. Why don't we go here? Yeah, this is a rather old scenery here from Aerosoft. So we can turn off the terrain, can turn off the landing system, can turn off the flight director. Oops, let's not get too fast. And so a quick look. APU master switch. Oh yes, we need to turn on the APU. Can turn that off. No, not so fast. Not so fast. So what about this here? No, this is just a parking area. I think that's the taxiway. Yeah. I'm using differential braking. Because somehow it's very sluggish, controlling this aircraft with the steering tiller. Okay, so APU is there, so let's We're on the bleed. Let's see any kind of red. Oh, the nose lights. That's okay. That's no big deal. Let's see what the red stuff is. Runway turn-off lights. Okay, if that's all that's missing, we're going to turn them off. No, these are already off. It's just that the taxi light. Oh, it's actually not in taxi mode. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so now is the question: where do we actually fit on this airport? Let's call up the ground chart. Because that looks like the lamp is in the way here, so I have to be a bit careful. That's the parking chart north. Is that it here? Yeah, that's it. And I think we might actually place ourselves here on this side, because these gates look a little bit narrow. At least that is my impression. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh no! Yeah, I should actually be on the taxi line. Well, actually, we could take this here, and at the moment there would be nothing in our way. Yeah, okay. So let's use this gate, which is 22. I don't think Autogate was available at the time when Aerosoft did this airport, so we're not going to be able to use the gate. So there's no light in the way. So taxi light off. And actually that gate is really in the way. Let's move over a little bit to the side. Yeah, I haven't done that very well, because there's no way that any kind of normal airliner would fit. So I'm doing it like this. That's fine, because we don't want to damage our little aircraft here. And a little bit forward and stop. Parking brake on. Right, so parking brake is on. The APU is available and the bleed is available. So the generator is off. So cabin pressure excessive. Oh, residual differential pressure. So somehow we have not. That's interesting. First time I have that. Let's see the differential pressure. Captain's air extract. Windshield defog. Cargo air conditioning. Cargo smoke. Vent cools. So where would we actually tell it to vent that cabin pressure here? Ditching of what cabin pressure? No, that's something else. Cabin altitude, auto mode. Interesting message. So hopefully we get those doors open now. To get our passengers out, huh? Right, ground services, doors. And ground equipment. Put in the chocks and the cleaning truck. We don't need a passenger bus. We don't need the stairs actually. Okay. Plane at gate, yeah. Yeah, okay. Right, let's see. Yeah, they can start getting the luggage out, and yeah. Passengers have to jump today. But we try to improve their physical condition by making them jump. Anyway, that's it. That's my flight with the Airbus A350 here to Iceland, and well, I might actually continue from here, maybe over to the States in one of my next flights. But so far everything worked out fine, and the airplane is actually doing what it's supposed to do. Until next time.